Okay. All right, I am live. Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Fridays with LT9K. My name is your host, Looney Tunes 9000. It's Friday, August 7th. Hope y'all having a wonderful day. Some of y'all in portions of the nations have your kiddos going back to school. Others are weaning it out. Basically by the end of the month or middle of the month or maybe after Labor Day weekend. Who the hell knows? But hey, how are y'all? Hope y'all had a wonderful week. All right, everybody, y'all know what to do. Y'all can hit that like, share, and subscribe. You're notified every time I go live, like you're doing right now. I put out a premiere. I put out a recorded video essay. I put a post. I put a short, like I did last week. As a clip from last week's stream with Annie. She says she wants to return after her primary. We haven't made a date yet. Let us go ahead before we get started. I think y'all know what I wanted to talk about, but anyway, shout out to Boku, The Reference Frame, Anna Loves Riley, Will Sullivan, and Rehabable Hapo-X2K. Gave you a shout out. You are very much new in my chat. Welcome. I hope you enjoy your stay and subscribe to me. Very much helps. Thank you so much for finding me. Annie's primary was Tuesday. It was Tuesday, like all the races in Washington State, and the other three states, Missouri, Kansas, and Michigan, which was the big one. All right, I'm going to shout you out one more time. Rehabable Hapo-X2K. But you don't have to spam the damn chat. I mean, come on, man. I already shouted you out, bud. I mean, when I checked on Tuesday, she was at 19.7%. I'm figuring that she lost her primary. But yes, I use my studio is my kitchen, okay? I'm very crafty. I'm reading y'all's comments. And my studio is not sponsored by Poly Market. I already shouted you out. Rehabable Hapo. Shout out to you. Okay? Please don't spam the chat. That's one of my rules. Alright. We should be settled in. And I think it was. And I'm looking at Anna's comment. Hair looks different following Trump's lead. Hell no. You know what? Now that you mentioned it, I might need to get a haircut next week, before next week's stream. Barry, welcome in. Hello. How are you? Like I said, I hope y'all had a wonderful week. We had the primaries this Tuesday. We had, today, we had a judge ordered stoppage on the construction of the ballroom, which was the former East Wing on the White House campus. We had a couple handouts. A couple of handout L's to MAGA, I think, this week. I mean, it's another up and down roller coaster. To be honest with you, Rehatable, I'm not sure what kind of music I like. But, oh, and I did forget to mention, yes, did I mention it last week? Yes, I did. I did mention that the letter, oh no, I didn't mention this, but Tuesday, the Letter Hack did shut his channel down, like I said last week. But the Orange Maggot would love to have LT9K's hair. His new haircut is awful. For real. Trump fucking wishes he would have my hair. Trump can build an underground, but not the ballroom proper. Well, today, the judge issued a work stoppage on the ballroom construction. I mean, he could build underground, but the judge today said, you have to stop all construction on the fucking ballroom. Bruh, I just told you. Okay, now I'm going to tell you, Rehatable Hippo, I like rock and roll. I'm not copying your fucking hairstyle. Oh, yeah. Another victory this week. Asmongold got banned on Twitch. I think he was doing some crazy shit. Yes, you're right, Anna. No problem. Rehatable. But do enjoy your stay. But yeah, Asmongold did get banned. Who won their primaries this week? I think it was Rashid Tlaib, Abdul, El Sayed, couple others, but Cori Bush lost. Hers. It's very sad. How do I say it? Anyway. Banned for how long? Shit. Probably forever. And yes, he was advocating hurting the little ones, which is totally fucked up. I mean, why would you advocate for that shit? That's crazy. No problem, Rehatable. Why would anybody like that advocate for crazy shit like that? You know what? This topic deserves my take. You know, for the purposes of Asmongold, very dark fan of the purposes of now that Anna has brought up banning of Asmongold on Twitch, because he advocated for hurting little ones, I like to say, Asmongold, if you're watching this fucking broadcast, you are fucking crazy if you're trying to advocate to hurt children. I mean, if it's in terms of sexual abuse, you are fucked up. You are absolutely fucked up, like Destiny. Okay? Or should I say Sex Pestiny. That dude is a fucking lunatic. I don't know why you would go out of your fucking way and advocate to beat the crap out of children. I absolutely don't know why. Even my audience doesn't even know that. Not even anybody else knows that. Okay. But what you're doing is crazy. Is crazy as fuck. I hope Asmongold been known as appear at all kids' birthday parties. I do too. But now, to change the subject, as we go from Asmongold to the FCC, this week we had the FCC vote to remove the ownership caps on what big TV station ownership companies can purchase when it comes to TV stations, and when other big big monopoly broadcast groups, how much they can purchase on what it means on radio stations or on TV stations. Now, this is why you've been seeing this trend of TV stations being bought by various companies. But still, this Nexstar Tegna deal is still on hold, with the ruling by the judge still that says that Nexstar has to run Tegna as a subsidiary, an indirect subsidiary. And this has been in place, I believe, since March. And I hope this goes permanent. BCAT, welcome. Yes, Asman got banned. DJX, welcome in. And this is one of two fucking media mergers that's happening. That's happening, or that is on hold. The other one is the Paramount WB merger. I mean, next year you should go to Streamer University. I'm not sure. I mean, you can put a same down comment. Let me finish my thought. But anyway, the Streamer University would help boost your views. Trust me. I'll look into it. Anyway, but the pause on these mergers can be counted as good, even though these are temporary restraining orders. On both cases of the both mergers. Hello, dude. Stream a university will help. Again, I'll look into it, Rehadable. Please do not spam my chat. Thank you. I know you're trying to get me to do a stream, go to Stream University. I don't know what the hell that is. Yes, but he'll be back, unfortunately. Who knows? He might go on Kick. He might go on another Rumble, whatever the fuck you want to see. How long? Probably forever. But anyway, as I finish my thought, but the voting on the removal of the ownership caps is fucking ridiculous. And it's another despicable act by Brendan Carr, the FCC, one of two FCC commissioners, and the guy that's been getting fired for calling out for the early renewals of Disney's own TV, the stations that Disney owns, basically ABC owned and operated. and for his backlash on ABC and all these networks. How long have I been making YouTube videos? I've been making YouTube videos for like nearly 19 years, buddy. But to close this thought, what Brendan Carr needs to do is to shut the fuck up. Keep his fucking mouth shut. And I hope a court finds the removal of the ownership cap illegal. Illegal. Potentially, but that is my take. Potentially up to 30 days, probably more like 2 weeks. If it's last spent, I think of any indication, 30 days. Okay. I really don't want to be, but why do you keep on swearing? Because I don't want to have this channel marked for fucking kids. That's why. Antitrust laws are being ignored. Monopolies lead to the Great Depression. Yes! You can say the Great Depression 2.0. The Great Depression, the first one, or the original one, was back in the 30s. No, 20s, early 30s. But we could be looking at a Great Depression 2.0. Thanks to the fucking Mad King president, who has been, like taking away most certain rights. The great fuck president. Yes. Rusty, welcome in. And yes, I think we're all adults here, so fuck yeah. Which streamer would you like to collaborate? I would like to collaborate with progressive streamers, thank you. Not with fucking right-wing or left-wing streamers who cheer on the right-wing and or left-wing respectively. Because I don't give two fucks about those who support right-wing ideologies or democratic left-wing ideologies. I will only support progressive ideologies. I will only support DSA ideologies. Go on Letterboxd. If I get invited, Great Depression 2.0 is the goal to undo the New Deal and install fascism as P intended. Yep, and it's part of Project 2025. Just like this week, we had Trump sign a executive order that wipes away birthright citizenship to groups of people that MAGA hates. And recently we've been seeing an uptick on murders by ICE. Very sad. Pet will have you. Maybe. Again, if I get invited. But speaking of which, I want to talk the subject I want to talk about. I can propose it. I can. I have to get together with one of them. Okay. Now I'm going to stick on the topic. got a tripod. It's on the way. Let's listen to, I don't know if I want to listen to the Ring of Fire because this is a brand new video. It's called "This is a Big Problem for the FCC." I'm very not much sure. Let me see if I can pull up the Ring of Fire. This brand new video.
Before the Supreme Court affirmed the constitutional right to abortion in the 1973 Roe v. Wade decision, women, known as Janes, risked their freedom to get desperate people secret, illegal abortions.
This generation of women believe that every person has the right to control their own body. Their compassion and courage is what our new film, Call Jane, is about.
For nearly 50 years, Roe v. Wade was the law of the land, and we had the constitutional right to say legal abortion, but not anymore.
It's been 4 months since the Supreme Court overturned Roe v. Wade.
Great ad.
Since then, lawmakers in nearly a third of U.S. states have banned abortion.
That means 1 in 3 American women have already lost the right to control their own bodies. 1 in 3. It's up to all of us to take back that right.
History tells us banning abortion does not stop people from needing abortions.
Yes.
It just puts people in desperate situations.
If you or someone you know needs an abortion today, visit abortionfinder.org.
If you want to make sure others can get the care they need, you can donate to abortionfunds.org or support your local Planned Parenthood at plannedparenthood.org/calljane.
And you can join the fight at bandsoff.org.
I don't know if I'm interested in the new Spider-Man movie, but what I can tell you is that I think that Planned Parenthood and that Planned Parenthood ad we just saw was amazing. And I can agree what they all just said. Trump wants to ban shipping abortions across state lines. He sure does, because he's like, because we cannot that. We gotta force women to get pregnancies. No abortions. No abortions. We gotta be pro-Catholic. We gotta shove religion up everybody's ass. Because, you know, they all say that Christianity built this great nation. Even though I don't give a fuck about religion. I'm still paranoid about COVID. Yeah, I mean, you have the right to be paranoid about COVID. I mean, it's still a thing. But MAGA, out of all things, has to go after Dr. Fauci. I'm not playing cat's eye. I'm playing what I want to talk about. Please don't spam my chat. I don't know what cat's eye is, to be honest. I don't know what the hell it is. But this is from the Ring of Fire. Here's what they're gonna say.
One of your federal regulators, someone appointed by Donald Trump, sat down and wrote an essay about restoring balance and neutrality.
This is the guy replaced Farron Cousins, who's got his own deal and his own channel. He used to be at Ring of Fire for many, many years. Ring of Fire, built up Sam Cedar, RK Jr., and other progressives. Hey Sandy, hello, welcome in. Hey hun, I'm not doing a live show tonight. I've been lurking. My back is killing me. My static is messed up, and I got bad news from my neurosurgeon, so I'm just hanging back till Sunday with Antonio. Hey, good call. Good call. Rest that damn back of yours. Anything to not strain that fucking back. But I hope you're okay. You absolutely need the fucking energy for Sunday. And I think I need to have you again in the winter. Since it's fucking snowy in the Northeast every winter. COVID is still scary in my opinion. It can unalive or permanently disable, yes. I mean, as long as you get the vaccine, you're protected. But if you're one of those MAGA idiots that still say, oh, the vaccine doesn't work, blah, 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 you're fucking stupid. But anyway, back to what I was talking about.
To America's public airwaves. Fairness, local voices, getting partisan influence out of your local news. And that essay was published exclusively on Breitbart. The headline, quote, restoring balance to the broadcast airwaves, and it was written by FC.
Yep, here's the guy that wants to, expand fascist media. This the bald old ass motherfucker, Brendan Carr, FCC chairman. Do you want to get rich, sell MAGA, Trump, wig hats? Hell no. Thank you, I'm tired of getting crap of all this crap, but I will get over it, I hope. I hope too. I am sending you well wishes, Sandy. Please, rest that back. Again, like I said, you need the energy for Sunday. One-way fairness doctrine, here we come. Yes. This guy is wanting to expand fascist media. The way in what I'm saying is like Fox News, state media, fear-mongering piece of shit crap network programming that will, continue this shit. And as they have Hassan derangement syndrome, and they have a derangement syndrome with the DSA, as they keep calling, the DSA is all communists. We want to spread fear and hate because we don't give a damn. Even though my name is Sean Hannity, I love to yell in the fucking camera all the goddamn time because I'm such a bastard. Hassan Parker. Hassan Parker /Partner. Welcome to Captain on the Bus. What a huge burden to carry, Sandy. I wish you good vibes. We wish you all good vibes.
Chairman Brendan Carr. That's the man that's in charge of keeping American television fair. And then he announced his plan to depoliticize it on probably one of the most politicized outlets out there, Breitbart. That would be like me announcing a vegan cookbook in the official newsletter of the Texas Cattlemen's Association. Also, I could never become vegan. I love my steak way too much. I'm sorry. But look, this op-ed that Brendan Carr wrote, it ran 3 weeks ago. And in it, he announced a very specific date, August 6th. That's when the FCC votes to eliminate...
It's past August 6th.
The nationwide ownership cap for local broadcast stations. And on August 6th, the FCC voted to eliminate the national ownership cap. Vote went 2-1 straight down party lines. Funny how that works. It's almost as if Carr published the result before the vote.
And today is what? August 7th? August 6th was yesterday. And what the hell did they do? Nothing. Nothing but vote on the ownership caps. They took that shit away. Game over, America. Yep. It's game over. I need the energy for my gardens and my property and for all the things I have responsibility for. This is very frustrating. I know I'm not alone, and I always say that. Okay, not anymore about me. Yeah, okay, yeah. And like I said, August 6th was yesterday. Today is August 7th. It's a Friday. August 6th was a Thursday. It's yesterday. Okay? All we got was the voting on the ownership caps. That's taken away. Because it was 39% on the ownership cap on what big owner, billionaire TV station groups can purchase. Because was a thing for many, many years. Most likely in the 1970s. Because the FCC didn't want ownership groups owning too much TV stations, radio stations, or newspapers. And get too fucking greedy. But now here we are. The ownership caps are gone. Listen to more.
And published it in a partisan outlet. I mean, and this whole thing plays out like a stupid wrestling promo. That's right, brother. These caps are going down. You see, oh yeah. The Carbonator's gonna run wild over anyone that tries to keep your market share down. And just like professional wrestling, the outcome here was scripted. The crowd knew who was going to be going over, and the belt was always going to go home with Nexstar. And the rule...
And speaking of Nexstar, Nexstar has been doing some cuts to its legacy stations recently, re-signing with Zionist CBS from most markets. On 5 markets, they switched some of 5 stations that were with CBS to the CW, and 1 with Fox, and 1 independent. It is supposed to switch to the CW on September 1st, the same day that Sinclair's Kitty and LTV in St. Louis is supposed to become an independent after losing ABC. Sinclair is right-wing. So is Nexstar. Nexstar is right-wing. And they run Tegna as an indirect subsidiary due to a temporary restraining order on the merger of these 2 companies. Which, again, I think is a win for us and an L for MAGA. But I don't know. I don't know if they'll now that the ownership caps are gone, I don't know if they're going to see their way and sneak this out. Yesterday, SpongeBob reference.
They killed has stopped any...
Wait, I think it was Hassan Pooker. Some other bald Zionist guy called him that on Fox News. Really? Holy shit, I didn't know this.
Company from owning enough TV stations to reach more than 39% of American households. Congress set that number in 2004 in an actual law.
Very true story.
And now, 2 unelected commissioners just decided that that law passed by Congress, more like a guideline.
The other commissioner is a do-nothing Democrat.
And Carr has his own replacement now for this law, and he's calling it a case-by-case review, which is a lovely way of saying there is no longer a rule. There is just Brennan Carr's opinion of your particular merger on any given Tuesday.
Of course, and what they're saying is, your opinion doesn't matter. We can do what the hell we want. We can approve what billionaire group can purchase what TV station. Because we don't give a fuck about you and your opinion. You have to listen to our opinions. Not your opinions, our opinions. You have to listen to state-run TV. Fucking MAGA on the loose. Because they're mad boomers. Because our fucking country is run by mad boomers who don't understand that we do not accept their thinking anymore. And it's basically time for these boomers to go. That's why I need ownership age limits on politicians. Look at Mitch McConnell, who just got released from rehab. He's 90 years old, and he needs to go. I mean, it's surprising you're still in D.C., even though right now you're absent for health reasons, and you're still a politician. Dude, get the fuck out of D.C. Enjoy the rest of your life while you can. You're 90 years old, damn it. Like, it's time for age limits. It's time. It's fucking time.
And I can almost promise you that opinion...
This is a voter problem. Exactly, it's a voter problem.
...is tied to your opinion and your support...
Wait, Mitch was released? Yes, he was released.
...of Donald Trump. Now, there is something in this actual argument that deserves a fair hearing because there are parts that are true. Brennan Carr wrote that New York and Hollywood interests have steamrolled local television, that local stations are getting, because there are...
This is from Bitbart.com, this guy who's referencing this website in the article. So, read your first part before they go to the next part. It says, so what changed? For one, New York and Hollywood interests have steamrolled those local TV stations in the broader media market in recent years in ways that run directly counter to the regulatory framework that Congress and the FCC put in place.
That New York and Hollywood interests have steamrolled local television, that local stations...
The results speak for themselves. Local TV stations today lack the power to preempt or refuse to air national programming that does not fit their community's values like they used to back in the day. National programmers are now charging local TV and more for the privilege of airing their shows. Say, for example, like Zionist CBS or NBC or ABC or Fox or CW. But that doesn't include PBS, who has since been defunded. Local TV stations are struggling to find the resources to produce law-trusted and local news programming. Many local broadcast TV stations are getting hollowed out as a result and turning into little more than mouthpieces for programming produced in New York and Hollywood. That is not what Congress or the FCC intended. Of course, it's not what they intended. They did not intend for local TV stations to pay the networks more and more to air their shows, to air their content. They wanted stations not only to pay for the network shows, they wanted to give TV stations the freedom to produce their live local content and exactly local news programming, which I don't think you should trust local news in the first place, because, you know, it's local fear-mongering at its best. Lord Loomer basically carried a hit on Hassan's Statistic Terrorism 101. I recognize the double standard between our side and theirs. Not gonna lie, I thought Mitchell as well. You know, I didn't see that coming. Yeah, I didn't know either. Our side cancels problematic candidates. Their side doesn't. True.
Are getting hollowed out, turning into, and in his words, little more than mouthpieces for programming produced in New York and Hollywood. And he's right. That is happening. He's just wrong about the location. Because local news has been done, and real reporters in real communities have been replaced by whatever a corporate parent pipes in. It's just coming now from Baltimore or Texas, where companies like Sinclair Broadcasting or Nexstar are based.
Again, Sinclair and Nexstar, who owns The Hill and News Nation, bunch of TV stations, and right now has to run Tegna as a subsidiary, as a direct subsidiary, should I say, due to a temporary restraining order. While Nexstar itself is right-wing, so is Sinclair. Sinclair is super, ultra right-wing. And they are both Nexstar and Sinclair are ass kissers to Trump. Just want to make that clear.
This must carry political content, ridiculous cuts to...
We need control of the government so that the way we can become the Ouija, without government power, we can't win that game. We absolutely need control of the government. This is why we need progressives in DC. Like, literally, right now. And all the old fucks that are still in office, time for you to go. You're not fit. You're old.
Newsrooms that have poisoned your local markets for years. And Brennan Carr's solution was to make it legal for a handful of these enormous national companies to own even more local stations. Some even own competing stations in the same market.
And basically eliminating local ownership.
And I'm going to ask you, when a regulator can just undo a law that Congress passed just by holding a partisan vote and announcing the damn thing in Breitbart, is that still a law? Does the law even exist anymore? Let me know in the comments. Now, there was one vote against. Anna Gomez, the Democrat on that commission, said something extremely precise. She said that the big...
One vote. You serious? One vote. Well, everybody said, yeah, we're going to do that. We agree. Fuck that. Fuck the person that said, no, we're all in. We're all in, motherfuckers. We don't give a shit. But here's Anna Gomez, the FCC commissioner.
Station groups positioned to grow under this ruling, quote, are not local broadcasters. They are national companies that own local stations.
But I don't think he's reading the things. But here's Anna Gomez, FCC commissioner, which is the Democratic commissioner on the FCC. She says this in a statement to Deadline. The large station groups positioned to grow, or quote, the large station groups positioned to grow even larger under the decision are not local broadcasters. They are national companies that own local stations and increasingly dictate what airs them. Like, say, they want you to believe that, oh, Trump is very wonderful. He's a good guy. You must believe what he says. And, oh, it's all Palestine's fault for, starting that war. No, And it's all Iran that started war. No. No, no, no. Let me clear this up for local TV stations that are under billionaire group holders. You are not to be trusted because the company is dictating you what to report, and they want you to, be local state media and scare the hell out of boomers and old people who still like to watch television and can't get their heads out of their asses and move on to the streaming age. Because basically, TV is dying. It's a dying breed now. Welcome to the streaming age. You got all these streamers. Like what I'm doing now. I'm streaming. It's time for the boomers to move on from watching fucking TV news. Because TV news, like I said, is fucking dying. And it's just fear-mongering for for the old fucks that still watch television. Damn, that's 21 years. You are to be honored, Anna. Not watching TV since 2005. CNN on YouTube seems big. Of course it seems big. Why do you think that the cable news networks on YouTube are very fucking big? Like Fox, like News Nation, like MS Now. Why do you think they're fucking big? While we, the small ass channels, have to suffer. Because they get to, do what the hell they want. Because they get fucking monetized. They don't give a shit. That's because they're fucking stupid.
And increasingly dictate what airs. End quote. And I couldn't agree more, because that's what Brennan Carr says he was trying to get rid of. And by the way, in this same op-ed, Carr specifically praises the right of a local station to preempt, to refuse to air national programming that doesn't fit its community's values.
Exactly.
He treats that as the whole point. Yet, Sinclair Broadcast Group must-run stupid political segment.
Remember the one in, 2017, 2018? Those fucking stupid must-run reports on Sinclair? You know how they say, the fake news media, they love to lie, blah, 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 blah. We have to spread the word of Fox News. Because that's what we gotta do. We gotta run these stupid fucking Sinclair first run news must-read reports on all of our fucking broadcast stations that run local newscasts. That is, if we have an agreement with a local news partner that's owned by somebody else, we don't have the fucking control of that. Sorry. Yes, so that's the only exception for Sinclair stations that have news sharing agreements with. For other stations that are basically owned by somebody else to produce their newscasts, they do not have the control to run and control their newscasts and basically make them run those stupid fucking must-run news reports.
Corporate headquarters sends them down, and then local stations air them, community values or not.
Nexstar's headquarters is in Texas, and Sinclair's is in Baltimore.
And if you've ever never seen one of these, you can
They've been
see
around since
across
1971
YouTube everywhere.
or
You'll see a
1977.
video of dozens of local anchors all over the country reading the exact same script about fake news in unison, word for word, like a nationwide hostage choir. That is what a national company dictating to local stations looks like. And Sinclair overall, long term, they're going to be one of the biggest winners of this vote. But the immediate winner is Nexstar, the largest owner of local television stations in the country. They had been blocked by a federal court from buying another station group because of this exact law, this exact cap.
Yes, and that happened in March. They were put on a temporary restraining order when the ownership cap was still in place. Again, this is when the judge issued a temporary restraining order on Nexstar for purchasing Tegna. Then later, the judge said, Nexstar, you must run Tegna as a direct subsidiary or indirect subsidiary, because you cannot own this many much stations. You have to sell some because you're violating the ownership cap rules. And those 12 state AGs got their way because corporate monopoly is a fucking danger. I'm dead serious. It's a fucking danger. Has anyone laid eyes on Mitch, like actual video or in person? I'm highly suspicious. I can look it up. I mean, if you want, Will. Why does my local cop helicopter fly around my house when I'm chatting in Looney Stream live? Shit, probably to fucking do inspection. I don't know what the fuck they do.
Well, now that block's gone. Nexstar, by the way,
yeah, that's gonna be gone.
Also owns the CW and News Nation, nationwide programs. The precise thing that Carr's op-ed spends 9 paragraphs warning you about. They just aren't in LA. They aren't in Hollywood. They're in Texas. And by the way,
like I said,
this is kind of funny.
Like I said, their corporate headquarters are in Texas. That's Nexstar.
Trump was against this on the record on Truth Social in November, saying no expansion of the fake news networks.
If this would allow the radical left networks to quote-unquote enlarge, I would not be happy. ABC and NBC in particular are a disaster, a virtual arm of the Democrat Party, or should I say Democrats, should I say. They should be viewed as a fucking illegal campaign to the radical left, or to the communists. No expansion of the fake news networks. If anything, make them smaller. President TJT, like I said that November 23rd, 2025, 3:58 p.m. on Live Social. And I have to talk to my buddy and Newsmax CEO, Ruddy.
If anything,
otherwise known as News Shit,
make them smaller. And he was worried that it would let the corporate giants like ABC and NBC buy their own stations and let them grow. Instead, we're getting friendly station groups. Hell, even a Newsmax executive, a Trump ally, warned that this would end up helping networks that Donald Trump considers hostile. And maybe in the long run it will. And look, consolidation, it doesn't check anybody's voter registration. It just asks who has the biggest wallet. And that's why if you want media that survives without buying up 39% of the country to stay solvent, becoming a member is a great way to help us out. And if not, do me a favor, just leave a like, leave a comment, hit that notification icon. Any interaction helps.
Have you ever felt a sense of awe when you were in the presence of something so big and...
So, that's, fucking corrupt state media for you. But here is the news report. But I want to watch a local news report real quick. I know I said I don't want to watch a local news report. I don't trust it. I see if anybody else on the progressive media talked about it. I mean, Indisputable talked about it, like threatening to broadcast licenses over war coverage 4 months ago. But the recent one, I want to see if any more progressive media talked about it. No. Okay. Let's watch this quick local news report from KXTV Sacramento. About 56 seconds. Like,
Well, now to a major change to the U.S. television industry approved by the FCC, and it is already getting challenges. It lifts a cap on station ownership that limited groups from reaching more than 39% of American TV households via public airwaves. The FCC chair calls the restriction outdated in the era of big tech. The cap is replaced by a case-by-case review process.
Stupid.
Critics say the change benefits station group owners that support President Donald Trump and his views. They say they'll argue in court that only Congress has the authority to make such a change. The FCC decision is a...
You know what? We should do that again sometime. The Donna Ivana thing. You know, we did that like, you know, a couple Halloweens ago. Oh, that didn't make sense. We should do that again, like, sometime. That shit was absolutely funny. Because I was trying to think, like, to ad-lib my lines. I don't know, we couldn't do it, like, again. Fucking Halloween. I mean, that shit was funny. Tegna, Schmegna, and Deck Bros.
win for Nexstar Media Group.
No, Tegna is actually the old Gannett. But Nexstar, out of all things, is, like I said, fucking right wing, and the ownership cap is gone, and it looks like NAGA's gonna have it way, and Nexstar could be buying Tegna. We'll see. You are Brent. We didn't script any of that. Oh, true, we didn't script any of that.
Whose purchase of our parent company Tegna in a $6.2 billion deal would exceed the 39% cap. The merger, however, remains the subject of a federal antitrust lawsuit with trial scheduled for July 2027.
Yeah, so that's basically next year. So we'll have to see. Next year, which is 1 year before the election, if we have one, we'll see what happens. But for right now, it's going to be next year, next July. And it's 1 year before the election, when candidates start throwing their hat in the ring for a 2028 run. If we have a free and fair election without MAGA putting its fucking nose in, we'll see. Tegna, how about Tugma Balls? Nexstar Sparkle Fingers for elderly MAGA fanatics. You know what? Like the videos just said, do you know who owns The Hill, The Rising, Nexstar, the CW, Nexstar? You know that network that Robbie Sulov is on? Yeah, that damn thing is owned by Nexstar. That damn thing is owned by Nexstar. So can we call him a fake progressive? Now that he's under the control of a fucking right-wing company?
You see this briefcase right here? Looks ordinary, right? But I'm about to show you something that could be a life.
Mississippi and New Mexico. The sizes that are being recalled are 6, 12, 18, 24, 30,
This is Kyle
36, and
Kalinske.
60. And the best buy dates are between July 20th and August 17th. So this is what happens when you have no regulation. This is what happens when Doge decides the government can't do any of the important work that they've always done. This is what happens when you have a bunch of snot-nosed 21-year-old teens who are high on ketamine, just crusading through the government and cutting whatever program they personally don't like. By the way, 345 people in 27 states have contracted salmonella from jalapenos. And that comes after the Trump regime fired FDA staff who helped conduct food safety inspections. So yet again, there's nothing held sacred when it comes to food in this country anymore. Nothing. We had the fucking lettuce with the cyclospora outbreak. Now we got this shit. And it's only going to get worse. It's only going to fucking get worse. By the way, there were 2 people who died because of cyclospora. I'm not kidding. 2 people died because of cyclospora, because of that outbreak. The first fatalities in the U.S. linked to that parasite, I think ever. All because of Elon Musk and Doge, all because of RFK Jr., all because of Donald Trump. Because they don't believe in government basic regulation. Trump destroyed the Clean Water Act and the Clean Air Act. They over 100 different clean water and clean air protections. They got rid of them. Trump is greenlighting the more use of glyphosate, which is cancer-causing. They put that on our produce. That gives us cancer, and we die younger. People look around and they wonder, why is it that the average age of death in this country is like 10 years younger than other developed countries? Our shit is like, what, around 76, and other countries are like 83 to 86? Because we have a shitty fucking healthcare system, we have shitty fucking food, we have no regulations, it's the wild, wild west. And, you know, we live unhealthy lifestyles where we're peasant slaves to our boss who works us into the fucking ground. This is bullshit. By the way, here's another one for you. Coal miners in Central Appalachia are suffering from the highest rates of black lung in 50 years. Now, why is that, you ask, Kyle? Well, the answer is, it comes after Trump canceled regulations limiting toxic silica dust in mines, which would have prevented at least 1,067 deaths and 3,746 cases of black lung. So in other words, he deregulated all the black lung rules, and now black lung is roaring back. Hey, coal miners who supported Trump, did you learn anything?
No, they didn't.
What'd you learn? What'd you learn? I'm not trying to be an asshole about this, except I am trying to be an asshole about this. Because you were fucking warned. We say
you're right,
reference. You didn't want to listen.
It's because mostly you have a higher child death rate.
Congratulations, you own the liberals, and now you got black lung, and you're going to be dead in 17 minutes. I'm sorry, but that hatred needs to stop blocking you from rational thought. And that's what it is. It's bigotry. It's hatred. You hate black people. You hate trans people. You hate gay people. You hate women. You hate Muslims. You hate every minority community. You hate the liberals. You hate the pink-haired college kids. You hate all that. Well, guess what? You just hated your way into an early grave because the motherfucker you voted for removed the black lung rules. So maybe don't go in that direction. Maybe use your logical mind and try to actually create a better world for yourself and for everybody else. Oh, my God. And then finally, Watchdog reports FEMA is unprepared for future emergencies. That is not a shock. They've destroyed FEMA. And the reason why is the Trump administration fired 6,400 employees, or pushed out 6,400 employees, or more than that, from FEMA. So they stealth destroyed it in the same way they stealth destroyed the Department of Education, in the same way they stealth destroyed the CFPB, the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, which protects you from corporations.
Glad to was a fucking Doge
deal. Now, they want corporations to rob you blind.
Before,
awesome, good stuff. So anyway, there are your updates, bro. I wish I had more positive news for you, but this is where we're at right now. Everybody, enjoy the rest of your weekend. Like I said, sign up for Crystal Kyle and Friends on Substack. You do not want to miss it. Great episode with Nathan J. Robinson drops tonight. And that's it. I love you guys, and I'll talk to you soon. Peace out.
Yeah, so that was how I wanted to see the rest of that. But he's funny. Dude's funny. Now that everybody's bringing... hold up. Before I look up Mitch McConnell getting released, U.S. is an incubator for superviruses like measles. You could say that it is an absolute incubator, excuse me, for superviruses. Even though I'm bringing measles back, it's very sexy that I can, bring the the measles. I don't know if there is a cure for measles except for snakes. The snakes are the cure for the measles. But if you take the snakes and shove it in your indigestion body, you will get even more measles. Don't come blaming me. You can blame yourself taking the measles vaccine for which is the snakes. The snakes. Like I said, is the one. It is the one that cures your measles. Oh, I did look at the Ara Parmas video. It sounds like he's out of the hospital and at home. Oh, allegedly, Parmas seems like a DNC plant. Let me see. Mitch. Yes. Oh, is this a video? I see this Aaron Parnas video you're talking about. you're really very good at all of this, Lunatic, my friend. Very entertaining. And then we all need to laugh. Hell yeah, we need to laugh. There's times we need to laugh. Because this is so much a fucked up country. And I don't mean laugh in the fucking MAGA way, because, you know, I'm such a good impersonator when it comes to MAGA. I love to make fun of MAGA. I love to see them watch this and shit their pants. Drink, eat raw milk, and snort. I don't know what's so bad. Whatever, RK Jacqueline sucks. He does suck. He eats raw milk. He swims in raw milk. He fucking drinks beef tallow. He snorts Tylenol. He's completely fucking stupid. Anyway, I don't know if I want to watch that Aaron Parnas video. I want to see who else talked about it. Otherwise, I would have to rely on the local news clip. I don't think anybody has talked about it so much. Congress seems to be letting Blanche in the DOJ. What? For real? They didn't even vote on it. I thought they delayed that shit. Political Voices Network. What the hell? You know what? I don't see. He's misleading people, and now in my little country, there are 4 cases of measles because people are not vaccinating their kids here. Exactly. He's such, you know what, RK Jr., I can consider he's a fucking quack doctor. Logging on during my lunch break. Hi, Looney. Hi, El Cobre. Welcome in. Thanks for finding me. There's only one Blanche for me from the Golden Girls. Take me now, Lord. No, I don't think any one of our favorite progressive people have talked about it. Oh, hell no. Hell no, I'm not watching David Pakman. Sorry. I don't know. None of our favorite progressive people have talked about it. I think Kyle Kalinske just talked about it. Wait a minute. Hold on. No. Okay. I have to rely on this video. And I am not relying on fucking David Pakman. I am sorry. I don't trust David Pakman. Especially what he has been doing. Yes, my username to some discuss on the Riley. I'm Annabelle Riley. Oh, Riley. Hello. The blood work done for immunity to measles, mumps, and rubella, and I have it. Oh, shit. I'm immune because of the vaccines I took as a kid. Nice. Mumps? Oh, okay. See, I'll have to look at this Aeroponus video.
Hello from Mitch McConnell's house. Yes, I am right nearby Mitch McConnell's house. I'm not going to show you the actual house, but I am nearby it. I went by it just now. The house is where Mitch McConnell currently is. The same Suburbans we saw outside of the hospital are the same ones that are out here. The house itself has blinds completely closed and shuttered. And there were videos from TMZ yesterday showing potentially a physician walking in and other people in and around the house. But ultimately, here's the thing. Today is the last day of the United States Senate's August session. They're heading into a major break for the next several weeks. We're not going to see Mitch McConnell in the United States Senate at the earliest until September, mid-September. And if that, we'll see. I mean, we will see if he is well enough to come back into the United States Senate to vote, to pass legislation, etc., give speeches, and more. Remember, his term is up in January. He only has a few months left in office. So I told you I'd come by and check it out. He is likely inside. And that's probably it right now. More updates for you soon. Follow for more.
Yeah, so that's the latest when Mitch McConnell can come back. Yeah, I know. I don't know. He's a lawyer. Oh, is Aaron a rich kid? No. Anna is right. He's a fucking lawyer. This dude seems like a mini cuck scumbag. Yeah, he looks like a mini cuck scumbag. But that's the only video I can find. None of our favorite progressive streamers have talked about it. And I can't rely on a national news media to talk about it. Okay? And I don't want to. And I don't want to rely on David Pakman. Because he's a shitty podcast host. Yet everybody hates lawyers. Not just you. Me. Everybody should hate lawyers. McConnell address is public information. Says the attorney. Especially those named Tristan. I'm sorry. I'm not gonna watch David Pakman. Fuck him. I think so, Rusty. I think his dad was on the Trump orbit. Yep, he was. But right now, all I can say is that's the latest on his update. What else? Oh, I think I've got it. I've got one more thing for you. Yeah, I got one more thing for you. Let's do this. How about we do a new video on the Hammer's report? Oh yeah, I was gonna go to law school, but instead I got my master's in human resources. Yeah, smart choice, Sandy. Had you become a lawyer, you would have got a lot of fucking backlash. Let's see. I know this is the new video, but if any, I might want to watch John Stewart hand Fetterman his ass. But you know what? Let me do the new video. It's new.
Brian Subaru stands out for its commitment
Okay,
to customer satisfaction and community engagement.
I don't want to pass
Visit
this
us
up.
today. We finally moved from California to Louisiana. And
So,
it's the best decision
this
we ever made.
is
Except for one thing. I'll get to that part in a
centrist
second because it almost ruined everything. Yeah. But first, we
fear-mongering
left Los Angeles
about
last
DSA winning in swing states like Michigan, which I can predict that we see a DSA presidency. It's not a lab, the lawyer version of ACAB. Yes.
As incredibly encouraging as it is to see so many electoral victories for socialists and socialist-adjacent leftists, I don't think we should be arrogant enough to conclude that we're unstoppable, because obviously that is not the case. Now, don't get me wrong, we should be proud of the progress that we've made, because the progress that we've already made has been genuinely shocking. A poll conducted by SSRS found that a third of Democratic voters already identify as Democratic Socialists, and this trend is being driven primarily by younger people, but that doesn't necessarily mean that socialism is the future or is inevitable, obviously, because trends change. And my expectation is that things are only going to get more difficult for us here on out, especially because the establishment is already shitting their pants about the prospect of a socialist becoming president in 2028. So I wish I had the confidence in our ability to win as they do, but I'm going to be cautiously optimistic because things can change, and we do live in a late-stage capitalist hellscape after all.
Yes, we do.
But the reason why I'm not going to be overly confident, or the reason why I'm less confident than they are, we'll say, is because these people are not just going to let us steamroll them. The New York Times reports that Third Way, the right-wing flank of the Democratic Party, vowed to spend $15 million to discredit the DSA movement between now and 2028 because they fear that Dr. El Sayed is paving a path for...
Here's what the shitty New York Times is saying. Their fear Dr. El Sayed was paving a path for a progressive to seize the party's presidential nomination in 2028 and go on to lose the general election. Again, this is fake writing from the New York Times. Fake news! Well, you know I was the best HR director because I was always on the employee side of Lola and fighting with management up until the University of Ivory Towers. Oh, yeah. Because I can name you one of the best HRs. If you were one of the best HRs, you could, you know, give a lot of positive feedback. I'm unimaginable, or so I've been told. Oh.
Progressive to seize the party's presidential nomination in 2028 and then go on to lose the general election. Now, Jonathan Cowan, the president of Third Way, says it's deeply troubling to see radical far-left candidates winning in places that are potentially presidential swing states. Now, to be clear, their fear isn't that a socialist or progressive would lose a presidential election. Their fear is that they'd win, because they've made it abundantly clear that that is the worst case scenario. They prefer fascism to socialism, literally. I say this because, as the Times explains, Cowan said that the effort would include opposition research into DSA, polling, social media programs, whatever that means, and educating Democratic activists and leaders. It would target both proud Democratic socialists and those such as Dr. El Sayed, who he derided as performing the DSA dodge, flirting with the Democratic Socialists enough to get their organizing manpower and support while remaining distant enough to avoid the explicit label. They add how this discrediting campaign will affect the current midterm cycle, potentially undercutting Democratic nominees in swing state races and undermining the party's chances of retaking Congress remains unclear. So it's easy to see what's happening. It's an act of self-sabotage. These are conservative Democrats spending money not to elect more Democrats, but to make progressive Democrats lose so they can blame a potentially negative outcome in the midterms on the left.
Mm-hmm. He's not wrong there. I never thought being DSA was anything but the right thing to be, and I've been that for as long as I can remember. Yes! Yes! Join your local DSA. Join your local DSA. The New York Times can eat shit. Mm-hmm. They can eat shit. They are the worst. One of the worst news sources. Next to CBS and any legacy media outlets. I'm not going to exclude Fox News, Newsmax, or OAN. I also belong to the Social Rifle Club. Oh, shit.
This is the calculation that they're making. Lose the midterm election to snuff out this movement and its grip in order to better position a moderate to win the Democratic Party primary for the presidential race in 2028. And I don't think it's hyperbole to call these Democrats fascist collaborators, because that's exactly what they're doing. At a time when authoritarianism...
Yes, we can. Please hit the like, share, and subscribe my channel.
...and fascism has taken control of our entire government, these people are focused on bolstering the narrative that it's actually the left who's gone too far, not the far-right extremists who are in control of everything.
Oh, hell no.
Booking.com.
No.
Never feed this to your senior cat.
Tuna.
3. Often there's
I'm
not
going
enough
to skip
taurine in
that,
the amino
thank
acid cats need to survive. So treat, not
That is a
chicken
long
breast.
ass ad.
6. Great
Let me
protein, but
see
many
any more ads.
Anyone who contributes to this particular narrative, and I mean anyone, is a useful fucking idiot for fascism. Period. But to be real, $15 million isn't really that much in the grand scheme of things, especially considering how we already have millions and millions being spent against us by AIPAC and, corporate lobbies. So, 15 million over 2 years is chump change, comparatively speaking. But this story speaks to how terrified they truly are, because if AOC or Ro Khanna can win the Democratic nomination in 2028, then it's game, set, match for the moderate wing of the party, at least in the short term. The left gains control of the party apparatus, it gains control of party operations within the DNC, and more importantly, it gains control of the money faucet. And moderates probably fear that the left would marginalize and sideline them in the same way that they marginalized and sidelined the left. Hence why they're trying to team up with fascists to stop the left from ascending. Because to them, a short-term electoral loss in the midterms is preferable to an alternative situation where the left actually has some real power within the Democratic Party. But I say all this to say that they're not just going to stand back and let us crush them. They're not going to allow themselves to be steamrolled. And that's the point that I really want to drive home with this video. If they can't defeat the left by running moderate candidates with the message to compete with what we're pitching to voters, then they're going to find different ways to undermine the movement.
Let's think about that. So, take for instance that Abdul Essayed won his primary on Tuesday, okay, over Haley Stevens. So the Rashid Tlaib in her district, I think we also got a couple of W's on Tuesday night in individual districts in Michigan. Thing is that if we get more DSA candidates in office, the more we can regulate government. The more we can throw out the two-state party solution. Which, to me, is pretty much fucking outdated. And it's time for a three-party system. And some portion, I'm thinking that you have, the DSA got, ideology is, 100% true. Next to progressive victory, guess this, we need a new constitution. We need age limits. And we need to defund the police. Get rid of ICE. And, there's most of the things that we, DSA, progressives want. It's just, we need to regulate what government does. And they should do. And not be so fucking greedy. and, you know, like, put their names in personal stock and spend money by giving their, like, accepting corporate donations or billionaire donations, basically mostly AIPAC. Horrible fucking organization. But we don't need any corrupt billionaire politicians anymore in office that we already have right now. And most of these people, or majority of people that are not DSA backed, are AIPAC backed and are corrupt billionaire politicians.
And when they have the entire political establishment and capital, every corporation, foreign governments, and Republicans on their side, they're going to be able to concoct a bunch of different ways to rat fuck the left out of power. I mean, all we have to do is look to the past to see the types of strategies deployed against the left that crushed the left. They worked. There was COINTELPRO, a covert initiative initiated by the Federal Bureau of Investigation in 1956, aimed at surveilling, infiltrating, and disrupting various political organizations deemed radical in the United States. Initially, they focused on the Communist Party. The program expanded throughout the 1960s to include a range of groups such as the Black Panther Party, civil rights organizations, feminist groups, and various anti-war factions. COINTELPRO employed a variety of controversial
turn all people born before 1964, aka boomers, into Soylent Green. I agree.
Tactics including misinformation, illegal break-ins, and harassment to discredit and undermine these organizations and their leaders. Now, as many of you know, organizers like Fred Hampton, the chairman of the Chicago chapter of the Black Panthers Party, was assassinated by the FBI after he managed to put together a working-class coalition of people across racial lines. Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. was spied on everywhere that he went. His hotel rooms were even bugged, and in an effort to splinter the movement, the FBI actually sent him an anonymous letter pretending to be a black man who called Dr. Martin Luther King a fraud and told him to kill himself because his movement was supposedly hurting black people. And
that I didn't know, you know, because I didn't know that Martin Luther King Jr. had been spied on. And I didn't know all this. Please just Google how to say my name, Shoddy. Okay. Progressives want genocide to stop. If it does not stop, Dems blaming progressive won't work. I mean, it won't work, but we want genocide to stop. I mean, you learn something new every day. Now, that was a story that's not been told in history books of how MLK Jr. was spied on. And the FBI sent a guy who pretended to be black, made some racial comments towards him, which is pretty fucked up. I mean, pretty fucked up back in the day, should you say. But what were they thinking? What were they thinking back then? I can probably tell you, say, they were pretty fucking stupid.
Book by Aaron Leonard and Connor Gallagher called A Threat of the First Magnitude.
Oh, cool.
They explain at length how FBI informants actually managed to gain leadership roles in the Black Panthers, in the Communist Party, as well as the Revolutionary Union, all throughout the night.
Could we not have Soylent Green people, please? Okay. Just like no school in the United States ever taught what the Nakaba was. Yeah, you know what? I'll agree with that. I will agree with that, Sandy. Because no school in the United States ever taught what the Nakaba was. And I need to look that up.
1960s and 1970s, and things haven't really changed that much since the days of COINTELPRO. Trump's McCarthyist NSPM7 is treating all of his political opponents on the left and in the center, mind you, as potential terror suspects in a blatant attempt to crush all of his political opposition. But a key difference from the COINTELPRO days is that leftist organizing now isn't as strong as it was back then. Thankfully, that is starting to change, but there's a lot less political and labor organizations now that the intelligence apparatus is able to infiltrate because, I mean, let's face it, we're all kind of in our own digital little bubbles and we just don't really talk to each other in the real world anymore. But that doesn't mean that they're not able to still divide and conquer, because you can bet your ass they've adapted to the digital age. And this TikTok gave us an example of clever new ways that the establishment is going to try to splinter the left.
Castro's in for the surprise of his life when he tries signing something with my poison pen. Well, what have Palestinians done for the Black Lives Matter movement?
Okay, I can fucking dance, shut. Okay, I don't know what the hell you're talking about.
There's been some misinformation about this fundamental right that's guaranteed by the U.S. Constitution.
Your Secretary of State says everyone who's here, citizens and non-citizens, deserve due process. Do you agree, Mr. President?
I don't know. I'm not.
I don't know anything.
I am a lawyer, and I've argued before the Supreme Court.
Oh, you're a lawyer?
Mr. Chief Justice, and may...
No, thank you.
And it's a humorous example, but we've all seen this kind of shit online from bot accounts who are deliberately trying to drive a wedge between groups to pit people against each other.
Say SMT, ABT, my dancing. I don't know. I don't like Trump. Yeah, here, nobody gives a damn about Trump. Fuck Trump. But again, like I told you, do not spam my chat. Thank you.
How many of my queer viewers have been told that they shouldn't support Palestine because if they went to Gaza, they'd be thrown off a roof?
Boku, I don't know what the hell Rahabo Hapo is talking about.
I've heard that, like,
pronounced Nakba. It's the explosion of Palestinians from their homeland by Israel between 1947 and 1949. Oh, yeah. I mean, that's not taught in history books. That's basically forgotten. You know, that was pretty much wrong. Because it's fucking, you know, it's shameful what they did between 1947 and 1949. And now what they're doing when they're bombing Palestine and Gaza. And they've been doing it since October 2023, I believe. October 7th. Isn't Trump your president? Yes. But I do not consider him my president. Won't you get canceled? Never. Bye, baddies. Bye, Rehatable Hapo. Thanks for coming. Eat everything up? What the fuck are you talking about?
3 or 4 times. Now, not everyone who parrots that line of horseshit is some secret CIA or FBI plan, but I think that we need to be mindful of a deliberate attempt to destroy solidarity among regular people, especially now that the progressive left is fostering solidarity across diverse groups of people again.
Are you over? I walked away. What's happening? I have not ended the stream. I mean, I'm here. Okay, it's working, yeah. It must be on your end. Then your picture must have been frozen for a second.
And my goal isn't to scare people or conspiracy monger. The takeaway is that we all just need to be a lot more savvy going forward, because the establishment isn't just going to be like, oh, well, shucks, we lost another election to the socialists. We'll just have to try again. They're not going to do that, okay? They're not going to...
No, you're good, Sandy. No, you're good. You do you. Get yourself to walk away for a second. I mean, if you had to walk away, that's fine. I read all of Alain Pepe's books over the summer. Oh, you read all of Alain Pepe's books over the summer? It was heart-wrenching. Of course it is. And Dance Like You, Your Life Depends on It by Baddies and Mommies and Shotties and Daddies. Okay. When Trump or any other conservative elected official actually represents me in a positive way, they can earn the right to be quote-unquote my president or quote-unquote my blank, fill in the blank per row. Or I can fill that blank, my asshole. Until then, nope. They are just ass clowns who got elected. Of course they're ass clowns. It seems the sheep control the electrons, who they vote for, or they don't vote. Exactly. Books maxing, I love to see it. If I remember you mentioning Pepe. Wherever you are, there you are.
Play by the same set of rules that we play by. They're going to engage in subterfuge and rat fucking to stop us by all means necessary. That doesn't mean that we put up walls and express skepticism towards everyone. It just means that we have to recalibrate our bullshit detectors a little bit. If a large anti-left account like DSA Watch, for example, just comes out of nowhere and gains 176,000 followers on Twitter, even though its account was...
Hold on. What the hell? Is this like a fucking right-wing? No. I see. I'm a Democrat calling out socialists and socialism in America, managed by a stillborn EXE. Oh my god. Okay, wait a minute. So it looks like DSA Watch is a mixture of this guy being a Democrat and part-time Republican. And look who he's followed by on fucking Shitter. Look who he's followed by. Yep. Commentary Donald J. Trump. Post from Truth Social, aka Lie Social. The President of the United States. Look at that. And I thought Donald J. Trump was banned from Twitter. Smashing is bad chess strat, yes.
Only created in June, perhaps we question whether or not there's money or some sort of intelligence apparatus behind that particular account. That doesn't mean that we should engage in bad jacketing and start...
I like to follow DSA Watch, So as long as I follow DSA Watch, I could still call them communists.
Accusing each other of being spies. It just means that we make mental notes of certain things and be more cautious. We don't just tweet out everything that we're thinking these days, because odds are there is somebody that's watching. Big Brother is always watching, and I need to take my own advice because sometimes I meme a little bit too close to the sun, and I say things that could be used against me, not in the court of law per se, but just to discredit the movement which I'm a part of. Now, here's another example. If somebody like David Axelrod is defending us on CNN all of a sudden and pretending to be an ally, maybe we should question whether or not he's offering the advice he's offering us in good faith, because he tweeted, "It would be good for Abdul El-Sayed if Francesca Hong loses her bid to become the Democrat in Wisconsin next week. He is a serious person. She is a font of zany faculty lounge exotica, but the Republicans hoping to deflect attention from an unpopular POTUS who hangs from them like an anchor would surely try and link Abdul and Hong as philosophical kin." So
he's saying that Abdul El-Sayed should do Francesca Hong a favor and let her lose her bid to become the Democratic nominee in Wisconsin next week? Oh wait, you know why? Because Wisconsin has their primary next week along with Tennessee. Think that's Tennessee and Wisconsin and Minnesota and have their primaries next week. This upcoming Tuesday. But Francesca Hong, I think that's a name that's been popping up recently. But I don't see Abdul El-Sayed. I don't know if I would agree on this. If David Axelrod is that progressive. But if Francesca Hong, if this dude is saying that Francesca Hong is not a progressive, because Hassan's been covering Francesca Hong a lot lately. Axelrod is not progressive. Yeah, I knew it. David Axelrod is not a progressive. So, what the fuck he is saying here is not true. He was Obama, she was stabbed, I think. Yeah, he was. So what the fuck this dude is saying is not true. So let me read this again. It would be good if Abdul El-Sayed, Francesca Hong loses her bid to become the Democratic nominee in Wisconsin next week. He's a serious person. She's front of a zany, liberal, balcony lounge, etc. Exotica. But the R is hoping to deflect attention from an unpopular president of the United States who hangs from them like an anchor. Would surely try and link Abdul and Hong as fiscal kin. Look, Abdul wouldn't do shit to Francesca Hong. Because you know Francesca Hong's going to kick ass. I'm going to predict it now that Francesca Hong will fucking win in Wisconsin this upcoming Tuesday. I mean, tenure fanfic. But yes, Axelrod is not a serious person. I mean, the people love Hong. Exactly, Boku. We love Francesca Hong next to Abdul El-Sayed. We love him too. I mean, I don't see Abdul El-Sayed doing shit. Like in saying, giving Francesca Hong the L. I'm not seeing that. He's not serious. He's very detached, like Boku saying in the chat. He's very much Blue MAGA, the cheerleader for Blue MAGA and their idiotical fucking policies. Just like, fucking David Pakman. But he is a lib. And I'm not going to go into much of David Pakman. Because that guy's another story. So, but again, this part of the unpopular president of the United States, I can agree. Everything else, yeah, he's all wrong. He's not serious.
Hoping to deflect attention from an unpopular POTUS who hangs from them like an anchor would surely try and link Abdul and Hong as philosophical kin. So this is suspicious as fuck, and it's not unreasonable to question whether or not he has ulterior motives because he has never been an ally to the left. And all of a sudden, I don't think that him offering us this advice is being done in good faith. And we're going to come across a lot of fake friends like this who conspicuously get on board with a cause or a candidate and then suddenly start to make us draw arbitrary lines. That right there is conspicuous. That right there needs to be sussed out. Like, this is somebody who you should not trust. Now, whether it's deliberate or not, it's still an attempt to divide the left. You should reject that. Another thing to look out for is candidates who just kind of come out of nowhere, who try to represent the movement, even though we don't really know much about them. If they don't have a history as an organizer or in labor, and there's not even a record on social media of them professing their leftist ideals, that doesn't necessarily mean that they can't be part of the movement, but it does mean that we're going to need to have some additional evidence that they are who they say they are. They're going to need to acquire some bona fides if they want to be representatives of the movement they're all of a sudden claiming that they want to be a part of. And this is especially important these days because AIPAC was buying ads on behalf of anti-Zionist progressives in an effort to get the left to split votes in the 9th Congressional District of Illinois. This was Kat Abu-Ghazaleh's race, and it worked. They were calling Bushra Amiwala, who was also a progressive, running in the same race, that 9th Congressional District.
Yeah, that unfortunately, the end result turned into Kat Abu-Ghazaleh losing her race.
Of Illinois. This was Kat Abu-Ghazaleh's race, and it worked. They were calling Bushra Amiwala, who was also a progressive, running in the same race that Kat Abu-Ghazaleh was running in, somebody that was a progressive champion who supported Medicare for All. AIPAC doesn't give a shit about Medicare for All, but their goal was to split the votes.
Corey was worse, 2601. Yeah, unfortunately, didn't get much of the funding for her campaign. So I don't know why. And she's the worst, but hey, we got some other W's. But fuck you, Missouri, for not voting Cori Bush. We got some victories in Michigan on a district by district basis, like Rashida Tlaib. But the big result in Michigan was Abdul El Sayed winning his primary race.
Between leftists. So if they can do that,
If
they're doing this already, it wouldn't also be beneath them or any other corporate PAC to hire someone to just...
Oh, I'm glad I can do this. I'm glad I can do this, Sandy.
As a progressive in a particular race where you see a DSA-backed candidate gaining steam, so that way they can split the votes between the left and pave the way for a moderate victory. It's deceitful, but it's not illegal for them to do something scummy like this, right? So if they have the ability to do this, they will do it. That's all I'm saying, which is why I think we really need to get better at properly vetting every single candidate that we come across. And more importantly, we take red flags seriously. And look, I hate to beat a dead horse, but if a candidate comes along and we don't really know much about them, but we do know that they have a Nazi tattoo and they used to work for Blackwater, I think that we should exercise more caution in the future. Now, I'm not saying that Graham Plattner was an op. Maybe he sincerely did change aside from the rape that he did. But maybe he thought he was progressive.
Banking on the go.
Lord,
Our mobile app makes it effortless. At Campus Federal,
Simply saying that we need to end the genocide and that you support Medicare for All is not sufficient anymore. Okay? Candidates are going to get more savvy. They're going to want power, and that's all that they care about, and they're going to say what we want to hear. We need to make them prove themselves before they become leaders of the movement. That's all that I'm saying. But even if you are a movement leader, it doesn't mean that you're infallible. You can fuck up too. So we also have to know when to cut our losses, at least temporarily. For example, William Lawrence, the co-founder of the Sunrise Movement, who just won his primary on Tuesday, already pivoted away from the DSA.
So when did you leave the Democratic Socialists of America?
It was within the last month. I let my membership lapse. I've got a lot of respect for DSA and the work that they're doing around the country, but I felt...
Wait, so he's not a socialist?
Need to make it very clear that the platform we're running on here is the one that has come up based on the conversations we're having across the 7th District.
So did you let that membership expire because of the general election?
No, it's just because I want to make clear to my constituents that I'm here to represent them.
Now, he's very clearly doing this because he's running in a swing district that Donald Trump won, and he is afraid that his DSA affiliation is going to bring him down in the general. So some might think that the strategy is logical, but quite frankly, the opposite is true. Because as Charlotte explains, Republicans are still going to call him a socialist, but now he's just not going to get any socialist, meaning he's not going to get the organizational support that comes with their endorsement, and DSA members who helped him get elected might feel betrayed. And voters across the political spectrum, regardless if they're DSA or not, are going to view what he did there as dishonest. Because if you're able to get elected and then you immediately shapeshift like that after winning your primary...
So the guy who's saying he's not a socialist, let his DSA member expire, he's not very honest. I wouldn't call him a progressive. I would call him a traditional Democrat.
people are going to think, okay, this guy is just an opportunist. He's just seeking power. And it also doesn't help that William Lawrence once said that he wouldn't support Hakeem Jeffries as speaker, but he also changed his tune.
Yeah, that's the dude. Look. This is the dude right here, Will Lawrence. Michigan. Yeah, I did hear Mike talk about this on Let This Mafia.
And after winning your primary, people are going to think, okay, this guy is just an opportunist. He's just seeking power. And it also doesn't help that William Lawrence...
He's technically admitting there is a problem with the DSA bad movie he lacks. Yes, he is. Outside said he's not DSA. But he is backed by Hassan Piker.
Once said that he wouldn't support Hakeem Jeffries as speaker, but he also changed his tune with regard to that as well.
And one of the members of the Congressional Black Caucus is
FWIW. You can still be a progressive or socialist without being DSA. Okay.
Jeffries. Have you spoken with him since you won? Do you plan to vote for him to be the next Speaker of the House?
I do plan to vote for him to be the next speaker, and I look forward to speaking with him.
Jesus Christ. Now, to be fair, I fully expect every single socialist that was just elected to fall in line and vote for Hakeem Jeffries. As nauseating as it is to see them do that, I fully expect it. But you gain nothing by giving up.
I don't want to see Hakeem Jeffries elected. I really don't.
Leverage before you even fucking talk to him. At least have a conversation with him and get him to promise you a particular committee assignment or a vote on some bill before you kiss his ring. But now he could just sideline you because you already fell in line before getting anything in return. And I'm not saying that this guy is going to be the next Julie Gonzalez or Sri Tanadar, but I've already seen enough to say, peace out. I wish you luck in the general. I hope you win, but you're on your own. The money and resources that we'd otherwise use on you can go elsewhere because we simply have seen enough to conclude that you're at least an opportunist. I hope that you really are as progressive as you say you are, but this immediate pivot is a really bad look, and it foments a lot of distrust. Now, I'm going to contradict what I said, because even though I think that it's reasonable...
I predict Will Lawrence is going to go from progressive to traditional Democrat and kiss the ass of cuck scumbag and Hakeem Jeffries. And also kiss the ass of Israel.
To have a healthy dose of skepticism
This is my prediction.
It doesn't mean that we should be overly cynical and purify ourselves into oblivion, because I don't think that that would be wise. We really have to do a balancing act, right? Find the right balance between skepticism and
enjoy the rest of your time at work,
Riley. And I think that we should err on the side of being charitable. Because even though I said what I said about William Lawrence just now, I think that we should try to do our best to be graceful where we can. For example, Malad Kuros was criticized by journalist Sana Saheed for an interview that she did with PBS, where she said that her biggest concern was how Israel was losing support across the political spectrum, which is obviously a very bad thing to say if you ran on your opposition to Israel.
Let me read that. Malad Kuros lost her job because of pro-Palestine advocacy. She built her entire campaign around mobilizing on this issue, and now that she's won the Dem primary, quote unquote, my greatest concern right now is that the state of Israel is losing support across the political spectrum, which is absolutely true on Malad Kuros's part, because right now we have run out of weapons, because Israel on the political spectrum is basically losing support, and we do not need to fund them anymore. We do not need to support them. We need to tell Israel, fuck you, you're on your own, we don't love you, you are just a Zionist piece of shit country.
Biggest concern was how Israel was losing support across the political spectrum, which is obviously a very bad thing to say if you ran on your opposition to Israel. But thankfully, she responded to criticism by admitting that she fucked up, writing, I fumbled this line, plain and simple. To be clear, my foreign policy priority is ending Israel's occupation, apartheid, and genocide in Palestine. I also reject the notion that anti-Zionism is anti-Semitism, and it's important that we distinguish the two in order to combat actual anti-Semitism.
Well, she basically admits it, but that she found the line, but plain and simple. But she is pro-Palestine. She rejects Zionism. And what she's saying is that she rejects the notion that anti-Zionism is anti-Semitism. And it's basically important that we distinguish the two in order to combat actual anti-Semitism, which is very true. Now, the rest of it says, I've always been opposed to any form of ethno superiority. I refuse to vote for any of our tax dollars to go in any government that discriminates on that basis. I was being asked about rising anti-Semitism in this interview. We would BBS. And I was trying to say that my concern is while voters across the political spectrum wake up to Israel's atrocities and our government's complicity in it, the Democratic Party is failing to meet this moment. Absolutely true. And when the party refuses to lead morally on this issue, they're letting anti-Semites on the right co-op on the movement for Palestinian liberation while giving fodder to AIPAC talking points. Exactly.
She later says, I was being asked about rising anti-Semitism in this interview, and I was trying to say that my concern is while voters across the political spectrum wake up to Israel's atrocities and our government's complicity in it, the Democratic Party is failing to meet this moment, and when the party refuses to lead morally on this issue, they are letting anti-Semites on the right co-opt the movement for Palestinian liberation while giving fodder to AIPAC talking points. But Sana is right. A movement for liberation must center the Palestinians being oppressed, occupied, and systematically exterminated, and the Islamophobia and anti-Palestinian racism used to justify genocide is too often ignored. And that's enough for me. I think sometimes we need to take yes for an answer, and that right there was phenomenal. We have to acknowledge that nobody's perfect, and I think that these candidates deserve time to learn and grow. And, understand just from a human perspective, these kinds of interviews are very intimidating if you've never done them before. So I think that everybody needs a little bit of time to adjust to being in the public spotlight because it is a very weird thing for a human to experience. Now, I would extend that same level of grace to William Lawrence if he came out and said that he was a little too hasty in making his general election pivot and he was just trying to make sure that he wasn't alienating voters who would be turned off by the DSA. Like, I'm fine letting people grow and giving them space to fuck up and learn from their mistakes. Like, even though I'll never not be critical of politicians because that's my job, part of us growing and insulating ourselves from subversion is just not automatically going on the defensive every single time, especially if we see a headline about one of our own that seems a little bit suspicious. For example, Politics and Poll Tracker tweeted, Bernie Sanders to Pod Save America on whether he'll endorse Francesca Hong for Wisconsin governor. I don't think so. Now, if you see this headline, you would think that Bernie Sanders is being a little bit bitchy and deliberately snubbing Hong, but when you get the full context, that's not necessarily the case.
I noticed you haven't yet endorsed in the Wisconsin governor's race. What's your thinking there, and might you endorse? Or
I don't think so. I met Francesca a couple of years
Francesca Hong.
And she seems very, very nice. But again, this is a race I just am not that familiar with. We have not gotten involved in many governor's races. I think we did one in Maine with Troy Jackson. Obviously, my major concern right now is seeing that we have a Senate and a House that is going to stand up to Trump. That's really where my focus is. So, as of now, we have not been involved in it.
Welcome to
That's what he's saying.
Your window treatment experts for over 45 years.
You know you don't agree with Bernie? Something wrong with this too?
Now, to be clear, I think he's making a mistake. It doesn't take much to opt for an endorsement. You don't have to stump for her. Just give her your credibility. That's the bare minimum. But it's very clearly not the diss that you expected it to be based on the framing from that account. And I don't want people to think that I'm putting on a tinfoil hat and assuming that every single comment uttered about the movement is in bad faith by somebody who's not part of it as some sort of, attempt to divide us, because that's not always going to be the case. But just be cognizant of the things people say and the motivations behind them. Social media accounts in particular would love to publish salacious headlines about leftist infighting because that would get clicks. But we need to not be so quick to take the bait. And I'm trying to take my own advice here too. Like, if you see a headline about AOC or Daria Lisa that makes it seem like they're betraying their principles in the movement, all I'm asking is that we go one step further and we read the article to get the full context before jumping to conclusions, because we don't want to attack each other if it's not warranted. All right? Because we owe that to our allies. But on the other hand, that doesn't mean that we should refrain from criticizing each other, because I think it's important that we do hold each other accountable. So I'm kind of contradicting myself again, and it kind of speaks to the balancing act that we have to do. But I think that there's a real difference between constructive criticism and destructive criticism. Hassan, for example, offered a better way for Francesca Hong to respond to her old tweet about wanting to cancel Thanksgiving that the media is currently beating her over the head with. He says, "I love Fran. This was an opportunity to turn this back on how Thanksgiving is about to be unaffordable due to Trump's wars." And I think that that's really good. The media is currently...
Okay, let me read these. Here's the original tweet from Francesca Hong. It says, cancel Thanksgiving, should have done this in 1621. We should have done that. If it takes a worldwide pandemic for us to realize we should stop celebrating colonialism and the original super spreader, event that killed indigenous folks and women, so be it. I mean, it's not wrong. This is a sinner. Hollins, do you believe that Thanksgiving should be canceled? Hong, I'm a chef, and one of the first meals that I made was for the community when I was 16 was a Thanksgiving meal. But Thanksgiving is also a time that is incredibly painful for many people in our communities. Exactly. And very true. And this is Hassan responding to this tweet. We have to start complaining about old woke tweets while the current pedo protector president is tweeting about genocidal countries. Genocidal countries. Please, lock in. Love, Fran. This was an opportunity to turn this back on how Thanksgiving is about to be unaffordable due to Trump's wars. Yes, I mean, Thanksgiving should be canceled because it's not affordable this year. And it should have been done way back in 1621. And I think Thanksgiving is a celebration of, colonialism. And I don't think you should be celebrating Thanksgiving this year.
Beating her over the head with. He says, "I love Fran. This was an opportunity to turn this back on how Thanksgiving is about to be unaffordable due to Trump's wars." And I think that that's really good advice. Social media has conditioned us to just call people dumb fucks if they say something that isn't necessarily savvy or politically astute. But I think that especially when it comes to our allies, we need to be more constructive in our feedback. And on Pod Save America, Bernie Sanders, he was asked about some of the more extreme positions of the DSA, like defund the police, but he offered a very normie-friendly approach where he basically said defund the police without defunding the police. He said, rather than defunding the police, I want to divert resources into mental health and elsewhere so the police aren't forced to be pseudo-social workers. I'm paraphrasing, but basically he said, I don't support defund the police, but the policy prescription he offered was effectively defunding the police. That's great. Zoran also spun the same policy as pro-police by saying, look, it's really unfair to overburden police with so much work when social workers should be the ones to respond to mental health crises, and housing should be how we respond to homelessness. Like, police have too much on their plate. They don't have to police everything. We don't have to criminalize everything in society. We can shorten the burden that they already feel by, expanding our repertoire of responses to societal issues. And I think that's the kind of things that we need to come up with. And that's how we're going to grow. We're not going to be able to focus group test certain slogans, okay? It's got to be a group project, and that means that we're going to have to get comfortable with constructive criticism, even if we feel strongly about a particular approach. Like, accepting criticism is going to be how we grow and become more savvy, because if we stop viewing every little thing as an attack, then I think that makes us much more stronger in the long run. But please don't assume that, I view myself as some sort of oracle of wisdom, because I'm not an oracle of wisdom. Just because I have a platform doesn't mean that I know more than the average person, okay? I'm just as liable as anyone else to get duped by propaganda. I'm not insulated from, all the things I'm talking about because I'm bringing them to your attention. I just want people to know that if the establishment thinks that a socialist presidential candidate is a possibility in 2028, they're gearing up to rat fuck us like they have never rat fucked us before. We're about to see something that we've never seen in the modern era, and that is a campaign of subterfuge to to divide and conquer the left. And I'm not creative enough, nobody is, to anticipate all of the innovative new ways they're going to try to crush the movement, but I'm confident that they are going to try as hard as they can to do just that. So that means we've got to wise up and be capable of adapting if we want to solidify our place in American politics.
That was the newest video from Mike. But let me get back to Anna's comment real quick about FDR being a socialist. Yes, FDR was actually a socialist. And FDR is the only one to go above 2 terms. He was the one that went 4 or 5 terms. Okay? And, he was the one that guided Americans from major events. The Great Depression and the Second World War. And he was president until he died in 1945. Even though I don't know if he was called out for being a socialist. And quite frankly, that's the only politician was a socialist that served as president of the United States. AI is going to do really do a number to go to idiotic American minds that do not have the ability to disappear. That we're going to need training, heavy training, not just heavy training, but regulating. Both regulating and training. But again, a number of gullible, idiotic Americans and their minds are fucking stupid. We didn't do this slogan, yes we did. And literacy, immediate literacy is hurting. Yes, and it's very true. Literacy, immediate literacy is very much hurting. I mean, we adapted to the internet pretty fast, 25 years-ish. Not about people like Bush or Trump. You know, yeah, like Bush, who didn't give a fuck about the Katrina victims. Vote blue no matter who needs a revamp. Okay. I think I've been streaming for 2 hours. That might be all today. I mean, I covered pretty much everything. A couple more comments. Get the fuck out of here. Let's see. Yeah, about 2 hours. I didn't think about my back hurting or trigger finger and hurting. Of course, and now that I spent 2 hours, go progressive or okay, good slogan. Let's see. I was saying because it's so good, but then I got canceled. Oh, wait. What the hell are we talking about? Are we talking about some serious? Oh, you kept me occupied. Hey. I'm glad I can keep you occupied. Occupied, sorry. I'm happy to do it. I do this every fucking week. Unless if I need to take a break. Speaking of which, I haven't had a break since April. But I'll plan to do it in November. I was originally scheduled to take a break by this time. But I'm going to keep going to like maybe November. What else? I don't know what the hell we are talking about in the chat. About some LT9K, you keep me from Solid Green messed up. Hey, I'm happy to do it. I'm happy to do it. Avoid progressives at your peril. I don't know about that one. I can't remember the other show Chris Nolan's brother wrote, but I love that one more than Westwood. I don't know about that show, to be honest. Give progressives a chance. Give progressives a chance. I mean, basically, for many, many years, progressives have been losing. But this time, it's the time. Tonight, we tried everything to give progressives a chance. That's like a fucking Democrat, what's it called? A Democrat slogan, thank you. Westworld plot, a themed amusement park with humanoid robots like Fantasy Island. Yeah, please don't Soylent Green yourself or anyone else. And I'm happy to keep you from doing that. I mean, but shit, that's disgusting. Not Tenet. I think Nolan's brother does TV shows only. Let's see. I think what I'm going to do. Oh shit. What I am going to do is get you ready for the raid. I'm harmless to all others, even ants, but not fleas. I don't like fleas because the dog is at home. Yeah, you know, fucking, fleas are disgusting, to be honest. Let's see. Take a couple more comments. We'll get out of here. I don't see any more comments. Any more comments from y'all? It not fooled for your forever peace. Let's go here. I ordered a bag of live ladybugs once from Amazon. Just saying. Oh. Let's see. Go here. Okay. We didn't a slogan for Kamala. Thanks. Hey, my pleasure, Will. Ladybugs are mercs against aphids. Yes. Three more comments. Do you have any more? Otherwise, I'm gonna get y'all ready to go to Hassan. Thank you, Anna. All right. Aphids. I mean, once you have aphids, you get ants. Okay. All right. Here we go. We're going to Hassan. All right. Pin tab. And I guess I have no more comments in the chat. But hey, 2 hours, 13 minutes, that should do us. Another week, another show. But y'all can go ahead to Hassan. Please hit the like, share, and subscribe on your way out. And go to Hassanabi Live Pirate Radio. Hassan. Thank you, LT9K. Have a nice weekend. You too. LT, thanks for the great stream as always. Yeah, Boku, we're getting ready to go to Hassanabi Pirate Radio or Hassman channel. Yeah, you can go to that too. But I rather go to Pirate Radio. That's on you. But I'm going to Pirate Radio. Alright, guys. We're going to Hassanabi Live Pirate Radio for Hassan. As our regular raid. That Shadow Dude banned me. Oh, right. That fucking Shadow mod. I hate Shadow mods, to be honest with you. They're not mods. Pirate Radio. Alright, we're off to the other day when he was attacking Sully. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. It's just his name. Oh, yeah. Yeah. I get you. Was that Wednesday? Anyway, yeah. Let's go to Hassan, Pirate Radio. Or you can do Hassan Live Fan Channel. So I'm boycotting the Pirate Channel. He banned Select too? Wait, what? I thought it was a mod there. What the fuck? He banned a hell of a lot of people, or she or they. What the hell? Really? Let me check the fan channel. If anybody's in there. I don't think Solar I am still banned. But I won't go back. Thanks for a great show and making me happy. I'll probably get back to doing 3 shows a week once September is over. I'm gonna start harvesting. I'm gonna have a pretty busy fall ripping out the garden. Hey, yeah. Happy to do it. And please rest that back. You need the energy for Sunday. Solek doesn't always make sense, but I think Solek is harmless. Yeah, he's harmless. Burpee said he unbanned us. Solek is 100% harmless, and Shadow attacked him. Anyway, I want y'all to go to Hassan. You can either do the Pirate Channel, or you can do the live fan channel. He came to fan channel just to block us, to tell us to block Sully or he or they. I mean, you got your choices. You can do the live fan channel, or you can do the Pirate Radio, which I put in the tab. Groove Dragon! Long time no see. How you doing? Ladybugs are both male and female. They're very hard to tell apart, but they never get hassled for it. Groove, my God, long time no see. Where the hell have you been? Haven't seen you in forever. You've been missing out lately. Damn. Oh, Shadow has the resources and support he needs. That said, that was a bunch of BS. Yes. You know what? That was a bunch of bullshit. But again, that is your choice. That's your choice. You can go to the fan channel, because I don't know if anybody's in there. Anybody we know. I only see Jose, Kelly, the UC Gamer. And Goofaloo, who's a mod there, surprisingly. Groove has been in my chat, yeah. But, I haven't seen Groove in a long ass time in my chat. I spotted Groove, a few times here and there. I always smile. Alright, I'm gonna take a walk. I need to get outside now. Peace, everyone. Yeah, you, Sandy. Bye. Thanks for coming. I was happy to make you happy. And enjoy the walk, and please rest your back tonight and tomorrow so you can get the energy for Sunday. Alright, also, again, you have your choice. You may go to the pirate channel, or you can go to the fan channel. I am Jason Knight, that's good to see you. I've been in remote areas of Colorado with difficulty getting with my hotspot to work. Oh, okay. Alright, anyway, guys. I probably need to go outside too, but I'll probably wait until 11 tonight. Yeah, you might probably want to wait. Anyway, your choice is the Hassan Live Fan Channel or the Hassanabi Pirate Radio. I must, if you want, to go because I go to the Pirate Channel. I'm not going anywhere. I'm going to Hassan with you. But take care from this chat, and I will see you all next week. And you can click on that pinned tab, and you can go to Hassan. Are actual pirates on the channel? Hell no. Rope Life. Welcome in. We're just about to end. When this ends, you can rewind. Anyway, let me go. I'll see y'all next week. What do I always say? When we leave the chat, stay woke, stay gay, and peace on. We're going to Hassan.